Hi, it's Leigh with the Messy Imperfect Life with Leigh podcast. Last week, I had on this wonderful fellow, and we got to chatting about the mess. And basically, I sat with my mouth open for about an hour and a half or almost 2 hours because it was so damn interesting, and I just couldn't even believe the story. But I'm excited because I originally brought him on to talk about NFTs and Bitcoin and all this great stuff. But then we got sidetracked by his mess, which I'm so grateful for because it really blew me away and opened my eyes. But he's back here today, and I'd like to welcome Stephan Perez. Hello.
Hi, Leigh. Thank you so much for having me back on.
You're back.
It's great to see you.
I've missed you in this. It feels like a long time because I got so excited by you and your story and wanting to help you and get it out there and bring awareness to what went down with you that I've thought about you so much. So I'm so happy to see you again.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here. Last week was great. Felt like such a safe space, and thank you, giving me the opportunity to come on your podcast.
100%. My pleasure. I'm curious, just kind of reflecting back on what we talked about, did it feel, are you used to talking about it so much because it's been so long since it happened? How long has it been?
It's been, let's see, it happened. It's been almost 12 years now.
So did it feel good to talk about it, or did it feel just that you're used to it because you've told the story so many times?
I've definitely told the story many times, and that was kind of one of the ways that I dealt with the situation, was talking about it. Like I never ran away from it. Like it was never like a point, like a shame for me, because like I'm not a bad person. I didn't hurt anyone.
Yeah.
And I made a mistake, and like I definitely paid the price for it, and
Times 1,000.
times 1,000, and I definitely moved on from it. And in many ways, like that great mistake brought me so many other blessings and lessons, and my experience has taught a lot of other people, what not to do, and it's given other people hope. So, but it's been actually a while. It's been definitely years since I've told the story, and it seems like it happened like in a different lifetime. It seemed like it happened so long ago, but it's definitely there. It's still.
It's there, and I love that you just said it was literally a mistake, and we all make those daily. And it's just the situation you were in, that mistake got amplified times 1,000 with the different entities that wanted to use you as a poster boy for whatever their cause or missions were. So that's the part that really shook me up, is here's this good kid who got there, and damn, anyway, I just am still blown away by it and so grateful to you for sharing that.
Well, it was definitely, it's very yeah, it's therapeutic to tell my story. It definitely is, and my story is very much a part of who I am, and it's placed me in all these like unique positions that have brought me to where I am today. So there's been times where I've thought, like, if I could go back in time and if I could change that part of my life, would I? And I think the answer is no, I wouldn't. I wouldn't change a thing, because I wouldn't be who I am, right? I would
That's
be a
right.
completely different version of
And
myself.
that's and what I love is you're like the my poster boy too, right? So you're my poster boy for, because my, or man, I should say, or man boy, as I call my son who's 22, but you're a little older than him, so I'll just go with man. Is that the mess is where the magic is. Like, people get so caught up in the mess and sometimes get paralyzed in it and think, I'm never going to recover. And they don't, over something that happened. It's just now a thought. It's not even happening. But it's like when we can explore after we kind of hurt from it, and we really let all the feelings flow, we can jump in like a child, with a childlike curiosity, and start to explore, why the hell did it happen? What I learned from this? How can I use this to be of good? And that's like the whole essence of this podcast. So I love that so much.
I love what you're doing with this podcast. It's very powerful work, and I know it's gonna inspire a lot of people, and it's gonna teach a lot of people new things that are gonna bring them amazing opportunities. So I'm definitely very grateful to be here.
Oh, awesome. Okay, so now I want to dump. I want to jump into the other side of you that I originally met, right? We talked about this a little bit. We didn't really get deeply into it. But I'll just say a quick little thing about it is I'm working with this really amazing guy named Martin Goman. And we're working on some cool projects together. And some of it is in the Web3 space and with NFTs and building a community and all this really neat stuff. And then he just out of the blue, I think was it the week that I actually met you? Yeah,
Yeah.
I think I met you, and 2 days later you were on my podcast.
Yeah.
So last week I met Stephan through Martin, and that's what I love too, when you're kind of in the flow of what you're supposed to be doing on the planet. People just drop in your lap that you're to work with, which is so beautiful. I love that.
It's like this saying that I heard someone say the other day at the end of a group meditation. He said that no matter what plans you have for yourself, the universe has greater plans for you. And
That's the truth.
and that's kind of like when you're in the flow that you need to be, the universe connects you with the people that you need in your life to do the things that you need to do. So happy to connect with you. I went to school with Martin. I haven't seen him in many years or connected with him in many years. So it's so full circle how it's all coming together, and it's really beautiful.
He said the same thing. He was like, I really was friends with those guys, and I was there when all that happened. He goes, but to reconnect with them like this in this cool new space it's really, really exciting for him as well. All right. So what I want to jump into is, so first of all, meditation is out of this world. When I do it, my life is kick ass. When I don't do it, I get caught up in the hot mess that is my brain or my human limited mind. How did you get into meditation?
So I got into meditation. It was actually like a tool that I learned for like the purpose of helping me deal with traumas that I acquired during this experience at Columbia University. And so after that happened, I started suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder. I developed anxiety, started dealing with depression. And yeah, these were pretty new things for me. It was, and so I sought a therapist, which definitely helped to an extent. They tried to put me on medications, which just were not really the way for me. And I've always liked a more holistic approach to things. So I didn't want to, look to pharmaceutical, like pharmaceuticals already got me in trouble once. I didn't want to turn to pharmaceuticals to help me with these situations. So I needed to find inner peace again. And so meditation was definitely that. It was a tool that helped me find that safe space within, and as opposed to focusing on the hecticness of the world and what other people were thinking. And like your brain can be your mind can be your own worst enemy, right?
Always. It always is.
Always. And then you start thinking like, what if I did, what if I didn't, and like all that, and regret. It could be so much. And so I had to turn to meditation, and so I'm fortunate that I found out about it. And it was interesting because a lot of very successful people, like I noticed, meditated, right? And not just overtly like spiritual people, but just like a lot of high functioning, very productive individuals meditated. And they came from all backgrounds of life. And so I thought there must be something there to it. And
I love that point. No one's really brought that up on our podcast before. A lot of almost all of the most really successful people meditate, and a lot of them don't talk about it, but it's part of their daily practice that keep them in their flow and out of their crazy mind.
Right. Exactly. And it's not, and I get it. Like a lot of spirituality has become very trendy and very cool and hip. And maybe some people practice certain things because
What does that mean? I don't even know what that means. When people say spirituality is trendy, does that mean they're faking it and they're just doing a yoga pose? What does that mean? Like even that comment to me is judgmental, and I'm like, I don't know. Not that you're judgmental. I hear it all the time.
Yeah, no, I just, it's definitely become, I feel like it's definitely become.
You mean kind of sexy, like the cool thing to do.
It's become like cool. It's become very trendy, but I think that's also great because it means that it's in the eyes of more people, right? Which means it
Yeah,
reaches more people. And so if it being more trendy means that more people are doing these things and learning about these practices, amazing, amazing.
that's right. Because it's something that you don't know until you actually practice it.
Exactly.
Otherwise, you're just holding thoughts that aren't real about it because you haven't experienced it. You really have no idea what your crazy thoughts are spinning. They're not true.
Yes. Yes. So yeah, it was definitely something that I started noticing that, you know, a lot of these really successful and impressive people were doing. And so I figured out, okay, like maybe I should delve into that space. And one of the first things I realized was that meditation is pretty tough. It's difficult. It's not like just a walk in the park. Like it's, you know, it takes effort to do. At the first, I remember like for a period of time, I think maybe the first months that I did it, I didn't even know if I was doing it right. I was like, oh my God, I get so distracted. My brain would go
So
everywhere.
I just have to say, meditation in itself is not tough because literally I used to do this at the beginning of my podcast. Do it with me now because I stopped and I'm going to just bring it back because I forgot I used to do it and I love it. That I do 3 grounding breaths before I would start any podcast. So if you would join me, let's just do them right now because it would benefit even the people listening. Is just to remember how instantly, do you know if you focus on your breath, your mind stops spinning? Because you're automatically breathed. And the moment you focus on your breath, your mind stops because it's focused on something. And that's the whole essence of meditation. So for me, I don't ever hold the thought that things are hard because that means that we're setting us and telling the universe to make it hard. That for me, it's like, oh, here's something interesting for me to explore, right? I don't use the word hard
Like that.
anymore. Yeah. But with meditation, it is literally, and we can do it together right now. Everyone who's listening and you and I just always ask people to put their feet on the ground so that they can be grounded, literally. And then you can kind of sit up. I'm leaning forward a little bit because of my mic, but you can kind of sit up, not too rigid, tuck your chin a little bit, roll your shoulders back. And just take a minute to feel your butt in the seat, in the car. Don't close your eyes in the car, of course, but just take a minute to feel yourself on the planet. Take a minute to come into your body. Take a minute to come into this present moment, which is the only thing that's real. It's the only place life is happening. And if you join me, we'll take a breath in for 4 counts in through our nose, hold for 2, and then let's exhale audibly out of our mouth, releasing something that's no longer serving us. I'm going to actually inhale love, and I'm going to exhale stress. So if you join me in through your nose, hold, exhale, in through your nose, hold, exhale. And our final breath in through your nose. Hold. Exhale. So how do you feel after that? How do you feel, Stephan?
I feel amazing. I feel like this is a dream. I feel like I'm kind of like stepping out of a dream into another dream. Like I feel like I felt calm before, but now I feel just so much more at ease.
Me too. And me too. As soon as it ended, I was like, oh, now I'm in my zone. Before it's kind of this excitement flitting around, and then there's just kind of like a deepening and a softening and a relaxing. It literally just relaxes. So that to me is meditation. It can be that easy, right? Just closing your eyes and feeling the air going through your nose and letting it come out. It could be a 30-second meditation, a 10-minute. You know what I mean? There's so many different ways to do it, but I like to allow my tribe, my crew to know that it's not hard. But you said the key thing before, our mind, right? Because then you start going, am I doing it right? Oh my God, is this, I don't feel like I'm relaxed at all. Oh, I'm screwing this up too. So that's our crazy roommate that we live with. And it's so nice to have awareness that that exists within you, but it is not you. And that the more you meditate and learn how to breathe, the more you can say, shh, shut your pie hole. to the crazy roommate, right? And start listening and moving more from your heart. So thank you for allowing me to do that while you're sharing, because I thought that was important.
Well, thank you. I feel just so much better. And whenever life gets hectic or I feel overwhelmed, a lot of times I find it's just best to stop everything I'm doing and just take a moment and reground myself and just, take that time for myself. And I always find that my mind is so much clearer afterward. I make so much better, like my decisions are just so much more on point than if I'm just trying to deal with,
Trying to navigate the crazy roommate and make good decisions at the same time. It's a lot.
Exactly.
Okay, so you said that you kind of discovered that successful people were doing it, but did anyone mention it to you, like a particular person, and did it with you the first time, or you just heard about it somewhere, like on a radio?
So I heard about it, and then I started experiencing it in different places. It was kind of one of those things where the more I started hearing about it and looking into it, the more it started like popping up around me, like in my life. And I was like, oh, okay. And so, yeah, during this time, I reconnected with this place in Los Angeles called the Theosophy Lodge. And it's this place that they focus on the study of truth, and they do it from all angles. And so it's not really a religious place, but they study all kinds of philosophies, a lot of non-Western philosophies. And a lot of it is about meditation. And it was interesting because I used to go to this lodge when I was a child. My grandma would take me there. And, I moved away, and I moved away to New York, and I did my time in school in New York, and then I was raised in the South. But when I visit my grandma in Los Angeles, she would take me to this Theosophy Lodge, and she went there for decades. And so when I got back to Los Angeles, I knew where this lodge was. And I always said, I'm going to go there one day. I'm going to go there one day. And I'd always kind of put it off. And then one day I was like, today's the day. I need to go there. And so I just dropped in, and they had all these like classes and stuff. And some were just on meditation, some were on different readings. And so when I dropped in, they asked me, well, Brian, what brings you here? And I told them that I used to go as a child, and I told them who my grandma was. And they were just so happy to have me there because they remembered when I was a kid and I would go there. And so I met like this community of people from all walks of life that would go there to study meditation, and they'd bring in different monks and all kinds of different takes on meditation. And so I thought that was amazing. And then also in 2018, I started going to Burning Man, which changed my life and became like one of my favorite.
I have not been yet. I want to go so bad. When does that happen again?
Burning Man happens the last week of August, going into the first week of September.
Are you going to be here then?
Yes. Well, I'm going to be at Burning Man during that time. For sure.
Are you going to move back to LA?
Yeah, I'll be back in LA next week. I'm just visiting my family.
Oh, I thought you were in the Bahamas right now, like living there. No, you're just visiting.
Visiting. Yeah, my family lives
good.
Here. I come here periodically.
I can't wait to meet you in person.
Yeah, we'll definitely. Yeah, I'm LA based, so we'll definitely meet up.
So when you go to Burning Man, you don't do drugs or anything. You just smile and dance.
I mean, it's
get suntan.
It's optional. The thing is, it's 70,000 people that go. And it's this beautiful social experiment where people come together and they create a city. And this city is a microcosm of the universe. So whatever you find in the universe, you find there. And so if that's your thing, doing drugs and partying, like you'll find that. But if like meditating and going to workshops and stretching and meeting people and just like experiencing all kinds of love and just human connection, if that's your thing, that's absolutely there as well. And before I first went to Burning Man, like I didn't know what to really expect. And then when I went there and I realized that it was the 7-mile city divided into 2,500 different camps, and you're essentially welcome at any of them. And you could it's all about participation. Like participation is one of the.
I have a quick question. Is this where my friend told me that she went to, there's Coachella and there's Burning Man. Coachella's music, right?
Yes.
Okay, so Burning Man, I think, is it. And tell me if this could be Coachella too. She said there's just places you can just go in anywhere, but you have to follow whatever the rules are, whatever their guidelines are. And then one of them was you have to take off all of your clothes to enter.
Sure, yeah.
Would that be Burning Man?
That's Burning Man. So Festival and Coachella is really cool. I've never been, but there's some amazing artists that go and people have a great time. That's a festival. Burning Man is not a festival. Burning Man is this, again, like it's the social
Experience.
and it's been happening for a long time now. And so essentially you don't do anything you don't want to do there, right? And like, but you do have to respect the rules, and the rules are you have to participate. It's about radical inclusion, radical self-expression. You can't litter. So there's all these beautiful rules, and there's just such a level of respect and love there. And because of that, there's just like this beautiful collective of just like high vibration.
I love it.
Yeah. So going out and, man, like initially I thought, oh, I wanted to do all kinds of things. I wanted to see the art. I wanted the party. But then I noticed there was all these workshops, like tons of workshops throughout the day. There were TED Talks, workshops, all kinds of stuff. And a lot of these workshops were like meditation workshops and all kinds of meditation workshops. And there was mass meditations. And I started participating in some of these different workshops there. And I realized like, wow, like, what a beautiful community of people that come together. Like, this is my tribe. Like
they come together in the vein of love
and creation and creativity,
which is all from love, right? Because God is love and God's a creator, and we are of the creator. So we are made to create.
Exactly.
Oh, I love it so much. And I've seen some photos, and a lot of people who know me are like, Leigh, you would love it because you could wear the things you like to wear and it's completely normal. And I was like, yes. So
the naked place you're talking about, because there's so many different bars, right? And so there is one bar where it's like a nudist bar. And in order to go into that bar, like that's the outfit, like you have to be naked to that bar. But no one's making you go there. Like if you don't want to get naked to go into that bar, you don't have to go there.
Yes, she went in with her girlfriend and her husband waited on the porch, which made me giggle.
You would love it there. Like you definitely, it's your kind of people.
I'm going this year for sure.
So that like, I mean, definitely helped like my spiritual existence to a whole different plane. I saw community of people that were there, and essentially like picture humanity having one imagination, and that imagination manifesting all things that it sought to create. And that's essentially Burning Man.
That sounds like your Zen Baby project.
It's definitely very inspired by, and I honestly think that a lot of the metaverse is very much inspired by Burning Man. I think a lot of great creators that work in Web 2, they work in Web 3, they go to Burning Man and they get a lot of inspiration every single year, and that inspiration goes into their projects. And so like in the way, like with the metaverse, this very unique digital space that you can be anything you want to be. You can express yourself any way you want to express yourself, and you can bounce around from place to place. I think a lot of that is very rooted in Burning Man. Like Burning Man is kind of like a physical metaverse.
So I love that. I love that analogy. And I want to just say this. So Web 1 is when we get on the internet and we can look at stuff and receive information, right?
Yes.
Web 2 is where we can look at stuff and receive information, and we can buy goods. And engage. And Web 3 is what?
So Web 3, so like if we're looking at Web 2, like, you know, these websites and social media platforms where you go in there and you engage with these platforms and with people on these platforms, Web 3 is essentially a bunch of platforms that are created by the people for the people. So
it's kind of like Bitcoin was created for the people, it's run by the people, and it's decentralized.
So you are your platform, and you create your ecosystem, and these ecosystems overlap and they co-create. And so Web 3 is a beautiful space because it's more conducive for creators and creatives. And so essentially in this space.
Oh, and it puts people directly in charge of their own content.
Exactly.
They don't any longer have to go hope somebody picks me to do a show with, or hope somebody, well, no, because we could do that anyway with YouTube. So I know that one was looking, that's Web 1. Web 2 was looking and purchasing and interacting, but Web 3 had a different element that was not part of Web 2. I can't think of what that one thing was. Can you? So I have it written down somewhere.
So with Web 3, I think it's essentially It's the element that you're free to pretty much, like, you build your own space, your own community, right? Which is like, okay, so like on Instagram, like if you have followers, that's your community, which is amazing. But like on Web3, you take it to the next level and you elevate it with either like an NFT collection, or if you create a DAO, or if you create some other Web3 DApp, like that essentially empowers you to create a platform where you can put your creativity, your services, your goods out in the world, and you can connect directly with your audience or your consumers, and you can benefit, they can benefit, and you're cutting the middleman out. You're cutting, you know,
Right.
which the middleman could be so many things. It could be these top
Agent, network.
agent, it could be the record label, it could be these top
And
corporations.
all of those people have a say in what you do with your material, right? If you're a record label, I don't like that song. You need to clean that up. If
Exactly.
you're a content provider, we don't want you to cuss. If you're, you know what I mean? Or we want you to go kind of with our agenda of our network more than your heart. So it allows you to have complete freedom and complete ownership, right? Of your own goods.
Exactly. So Twitter's awesome and YouTube is great. Facebook, allows people to connect with one another. However, if you do or say or post something that they're not okay with,
That's right.
you'll get banned. And so there is a growing level of censorship on these massive mainstream platforms, right? And so, yeah, like if you're a creator and you post some content on YouTube that they don't like, you could have a great following, but they'll shut you down. And so with the centralized platforms on Web3, that's not quite the case. You could truly radically express yourself. You could truly put different projects out into the world, and they'll be there. They'll be hosted on this decentralized
So, yeah.
space.
So one of the things that I have found interesting, because I'm relatively new in this cryptocurrency, Bitcoin NFT space, but what I know is that my mission is to bring in the other 84% of Americans who have not purchased crypto, and really focusing on women, because the women involvement in cryptocurrency is so small. Within the like 14%, I think 6% are women and the rest are guys, usually 20 to 30. And what I'm learning is, turning 56 on Monday, that
Happy early birthday.
thank you, sweetheart, that this space is available to everyone. It's never too late to get in. And there's such huge, incredible things. I always say I got to peek behind the orange curtain, and I see what's possible with Web3, and what's possible with the work that people are doing that will impact the world in a greater way than ever before, which really excites me.
There's definitely a space in Web3 for anyone and everyone, no matter what you're into. So if you're into crypto and crypto trading, like there's absolutely more than enough space for you there. But if you're just a creative that wants to get your creations out there, and you want to not only have them like seen and appreciated, but also if you want to make money from it, it's completely possible. And then you can build this ecosystem that's a direct connection between the creator and the audience. And that really hasn't been available before. Like,
Yeah.
historically, I think creatives have gotten the short end of the deal.
If you want to buy a house, you have to find an agent and hope it's a good one for you. Or if you want to, anything, you have to get permission. You have to get someone to do it for you. It's literally being able to just do what you want, having complete freedom. It's pretty amazing. So you use the word DAO. I'm educating myself on the audience. And is a DAO the white paper that people write?
No, DAOs do have white papers and NFT projects, and a lot of these.
What does DAO mean?
So DAO stands for decentralized autonomous organization.
Okay, I hate all of the words in this place because they are such elitist words. It's like, what does that freaking mean? Like
Yeah.
NFT, non-fungible, which means that it's kind of one of a kind. One person owns it, usually worth some good money. That's what that means. But non-fungible is like, I don't know what the hell that means. I can't even get in the space.
So non-fungible are essentially they're digitally programmable assets. That's one way to look at them.
Like a piece of art.
Yeah, so a lot of people just think of JPEGs, but it can be a JPEG, but that JPEG has a programmable asset. And it doesn't need to be a JPEG. It can be something else as well, right? And NFTs help, essentially they help facilitate digital transactions, and they also help document digital ownership, right? And that's what the blockchain does. And so as we get into Web3 and we get into the metaverse, everything is about digital ownership, because all the players in the space, they're creating things. And when you create stuff, there's owners. And then when you have consumers and they buy things, they then step into a place of ownership. And so we have to keep track of who owns what and who created what. And so the blockchain does that. And so the power of NFTs is that it helps us keep track of all this digital ownership, because the future.
But an NFT is actually the work, right? The piece of art.
It can be the piece of art. The NFT could be that piece of art. Could be your membership to a certain community.
Oh, so it can also be a token, or it is a token.
Yeah, so it is a token.
Is an NFT a token?
It is. It's a non-fungible token.
And so is a piece of art a token? Yes, because it's an NFT.
Yeah, if it is like an NFT, yes.
Okay, so NFTs can be tokens as well. So you can buy an NFT, and then you can have access to, let's say I'm launching my membership site. If you buy an NFT, you have access to my membership site. Or if you buy a different NFT or token, then you have more access and more perks with me, kind of thing.
Yes. So like we were just talking about Coachella, right? So we'll bring up Coachella again. Coachella released a very exclusive collection of 10 NFTs, right? And if you purchase one of these NFTs, you have lifetime access to Coachella.
Okay. How much?
I don't know the going
You don't know yet.
price for that, for the NFTs, but I imagine it'll be up there, because
like $25,000 or more.
Who knows? It could be more.
100.
If you think of what it costs to go to Coachella,
yeah,
tickets definitely are in the thousands. So if you think of a lifetime pass, like how many times, like how many years would that be? Obviously it ranges per person, but it's significant, and there's only 10. So since there's only 10, there's scarcity there, particular scarcity there. So a lot of people go to Coachella.
He said scarcity. I think well, for us, it's scarcity. Scarcity? You said scarcity. It's more like masculine, like you got cut in the forehead.
Sorry, English is my second language, so sometimes I have like.
And what's your first? Is it Spanish?
Spanish, yeah.
Hola, guapo.
Gracias.
Por nada. So, okay, so that's just cool to know. So the NFT are these tokens, and they have value.
Yes. Right. Back to the DAO, because I don't want I don't want to
please
forget about DAOs. DAOs are really powerful, and I think the direction that we're headed, you can think of DAOs as groups of people that come together and they collectively run an organization. So
I like that. So easy.
Yeah. So think of a collective operating an organization, and they vote on everything that happens in this organization, right? And the voting rights are dictated on the amount of tokens that you own in that organization.
So it's kind of like an advisory board?
Yeah. But everyone's on the advisory board. And so obviously the more ownership you have, the more weight you have in terms of voting, right? Because up until this point, most businesses are like LLCs or corporations, and there's a president, there's a CEO, you have this executive board. With the DAO structure, it's the power is in the collective, right? And so if the decisions that the collective chooses, like if they make good decisions, this DAO will do great, and it'll grow and it'll have longevity. If this collective makes a bunch of bad decisions, it probably won't thrive, and it won't survive.
Bad group.
So DAOs were, I think, first established in 2016. And so at that time, there was a few. And then over the years, it became hundreds. I think now we're up to 4,000, 5,000 DAOs. And every day there's dozens and dozens of new DAOs.
Okay, so our friend Martin, he has a DAO for his new Renaissance Guild that he's launching, and I'm going to be a part of it. I'm so freaking excited. I can't take it.
It's an awesome project.
He wrote a white paper for it. So that's basically like a one sheet, or just not a one sheet because I think it's dense, but it was explaining everything that's happening within it. So it's just kind of the informational sheet.
Yeah. So it's like think of white papers being like thorough business plans.
Yeah.
So that's essentially what it is for this new age structure. So DAOs are the new age startups. DAOs are the new structure for these new Web3.
I'm writing that down. Okay, keep going.
Yeah. So DAOs are, let's see.
It doesn't work.
DAOs can come in so many different shapes.
All right, so DAOs are the new startup. White paper is the new kind of business plan.
Yes.
Okay, and have you created both of those for your Zen Baby?
So we have not created the Zen Baby Academy DAO yet, but that is something that is definitely on our roadmap, and that's going to be part of our future.
Okay, what happens with the steps of it? So let's talk a tiny bit, if you would now, please, about Zen Baby.
Yes.
What it means, how it came to be.
Absolutely. So Zen Baby Academy is my first NFT project, and I am creating it with my amazing team. We're all over the world. My co-founder is in New York. Our biz dev he's in Medellin, Colombia. And it's amazing because we have this team and we work from all around the world, and we're building this up. And so essentially Zen Baby Academy is a collection of 8,888 babies that are meditating.
Why all eights?
Because 8 is a very powerful number, and it means abundance, and it has a very high vibration. And so 4 8s is particularly, there's a lot of power in that number.
And I'm glad that I paused you for that kind of stuff, because what it shows me is everything is so thought out. Everything is meaningful, especially with your project. And even like the baby, right? We kind of talked about this last time, but I don't care. I want to talk like we haven't talked about it yet. That the baby is just pure and from God. It hasn't been layered with being abused or neglected, or siblings saying things, or teachers, and all the things that kind of paper mache over our true glory and our true essence. So the baby, you're just starting with the baby, which is connected to God and pure.
Direct from source. From source. And so many traditions definitely see babies as masters, right? Because they're direct from source, and
they just left all that is.
Exactly.
To come here for this experience.
And so we can learn so much from babies. And then also being a creative, if you're in touch, if you're in tune with your inner child, your creativity will be that much more incredible, pure, and genuine.
I want to just say to that, the reason for that is you think about children, they don't, I wonder if I should play this. I wonder if I should draw this. I wonder if anyone's going to look. They just go for it. They're just drawing on the sidewalk, whatever the hell they want. They're singing and dancing and skipping. They have complete freedom, right? Because they haven't had shame or judgment or anything kind of placed upon them yet.
So when you work down, right?
That's right.
So they know
when you work from that space, it's just creative and fun and exploratory, as opposed to, being derailed.
Exactly. Because at the end of the day, we're just souls on this journey, right? And we need to play. We need to obviously you need to work. You need to work hard, and you need to
take out the word hard. I don't like hard.
You need to work diligently. You need to work.
Yeah, focus. Yes.
You need to be focused. You need to work passionately in life, right? But you also need to make time to play, right? And I think a lot of people along the journey of life forget to play.
Yes.
And as they forget to play, it brings down their whole vibration, and then that can lead to all kinds of things: sadness, depression, hopelessness, so many things. Yeah. And it's because they're forgetting to play. So no matter
what, they're taking everything so serious when this is really just a temporary party planet. Shit's going to happen to everyone. Everyone is going to go through shit. I like to know it's coming, right? So my happiness and kicking it is like the respite. I just get to enjoy myself. Oh, here comes another big learning. Holy hell, this is a big one. But what am I going to learn from it, right? That's just the cycle of, I think, of like the most positive anti-derailment victim mode. It's coming. And we act like so shocked when it comes or something happens, but it's coming. So how are you going to be in it? And how are you going to be with yourself? And how are you going to respond?
I definitely, I agree. That's such an important part of life. And so that's why we made the babies the that's like the center of, of our collection. And so essentially what this collection does, it's a profile picture. So this would be like a profile picture NFT. And if you have if you have a Zen baby NFT, it symbolizes that you are on a spiritual path. You're on a spiritual journey, and
So how long till I can get one?
so we're gonna drop this summer. I just had an amazing talk today with our Web3 builder, and he's building our monastery in Decentraland. And
Okay. Okay. Number one, because this is amazing. First of all, what is Decentraland?
sure. So
After you take a drink, take a drink first.
okay, all right, yeah, I need to drink before
Yeah,
this.
and I'm only stopping you because my whole thing is to educate as I learn.
Of course.
Okay.
Please stop me. Like I'm just so used to
I
talking
love
about
it.
all of this, like everything Web3 that sometimes I forget that not everyone knows what a lot
Yeah.
of these
Tell
things are.
us.
So essentially Decentraland is the biggest metaverse that exists. And so
Metaverse just means virtual or online.
so it's like a virtual world. So you can think of
Roblox for my daughter.
Roblox is totally a metaverse. Video games are metaverses in themselves, right? The Sims back in the day was a metaverse, right? Grand Theft Auto, a metaverse. Like if you go into like the Harry Potter world, it gets so deep, right? And elaborate, that's a metaverse. Burning Man is kind of like a real life metaverse, right? So Decentraland was created in 2017, and it's currently the biggest and the most mature metaverse. So
Yours or just Decentraland?
it's Decentraland in general. It's considered the OG of the metaverses.
And the Decentraland goes with the whole decentralized from the government, from banks, and from a specific
Exactly.
person running it.
So it was founded by two people. However, they don't run it. It's run by the members.
So they created a DAO for that?
So yeah, it is run. It is actually operated. Decentraland does have its own DAO, and it is operated by a DAO. Yes. And so they vote on what happens with Decentraland. Right now, it's capped. I think, let's see, I have it written down right here. There's 90,601 parcels in Decentraland. So when they
What
made
are
this
parcels?
parcels are plots of land, plots of virtual land. And so that's the number. And that's the number they created, and they went on sale.
And that's the magic about this virtual space, about Bitcoin. It's finite,
Yes.
which really makes things hold their value. Yeah. Okay.
And so if the DAO were to vote on releasing more parcels, they technically could. Will they? Maybe not, because I think they're trying to keep that
vibe.
Yeah, that vibe, that exclusivity, right? And so essentially you have these parcels, and people start to buy these parcels, and people start to build structures and buildings, and whatever the mind can conceive, people build them.
Tell me about yours, because I think you have the largest of anyone.
Well, it's not the largest of anyone, but it's a really big estate.
I like to make facts up sometimes.
It's a really large estate. It's really big, and it's one of the bigger estates in Decentraland. And so what we want to do, the plan is we're going to build like a spiritual, almost like a spiritual village on this estate. And so we're building this monastery. It's going to be the Zen Baby Academy Monastery. And so you're going to walk in, and the first floor is the lobby, and anyone is welcome there. And we're going to have all kinds of events, and there'll be a bunch of community events.
Do you have to buy an NFT Zen Baby to get into the lobby?
No. So the lobby, we're going to have it open to
Everyone.
the public, because we're going to have a lot of free events too, because part of it is we want to bring people together, and we also want to educate. However, on the second floor of the monastery, there'll be an exclusive space exclusively for the Zen Baby Academy NFT holders. So essentially think of a Zen Baby Academy NFT as your membership card that gives you access to this exclusive space in the monastery. And in that exclusive space in the monastery, there'll be an ongoing series of classes and workshops and sound baths and different discussions and talks that'll be exclusive to the members. So with our NFT, you're not just buying a JPEG that sits on your computer. You're buying this JPEG that gives you access to this virtual world, but then also in real life, we're teaming up with people like you that have been on the spiritual journey for a while. And we're going to have a number of spiritual teachers that are a part of our community that are going to provide classes for our members. And some of these classes will be in person. Some of them will be on our Discord server for our members. And once a year, we are looking to do an in-person holistic retreat.
I love it.
And so the idea is to bring people together that are into spirituality, they're into crypto, they're into NFTs, and we want to bring them together in one space and see what comes from that, because a lot of organic collaborations will result from that. And that's what Web3 is all about. It's all about creative collaboration.
I love it. Okay, so yours, I kind of got a picture of it. So when people buy, people can go in for free. When does it launch? I know you said you're going to have your NFTs in the summer.
So we're gonna do our launch this summer. We don't have a set date. Before we launch, we are going to have like a pre-launch event in Decentraland, and everyone will be invited. And
how cool! So
yeah.
What we're talking about, everyone listening, I'll let them know when it's time and they can experience that.
Yes. So everyone will be invited. They'll have to, they'll have to, make their avatar in, for Decentraland, and then we'll give out the time and the place, and they'll know the coordinates for our estate, and they'll be invited, and we're going to have just like a friendly social, and it'll probably be like a dance party. Right. And then after that, we'll have our official launch. And then after the holders have their NFTs, we're going to start these ongoing events. And
wow.
The plan is also this monastery, we're going to build it upward, because what's really cool about the metaverse and places like Decentraland is you could really do whatever you want, whatever the mind can conceive, you can create in these spaces. So we're going to start building on top of this monastery. And on every floor of this monastery, we're going to have different businesses that are going to run out of these spaces. So we're going to
that's awesome.
Have music studios. We're going to have yoga studios. We're going to have people that sell crystals. And so essentially it will be this dense spiritual community where they're doing classes, but then they're also selling their services and their products. And it'll be in one space.
It's like you're moving into a spiritual commune where everyone's giving their services and their goods, and everyone's helping each other and learning from each other.
Exactly.
Pretty damn cool.
Yeah.
And I love how you are on the spiritual path. I think your partner, what's his name?
His name is Theo Papa George.
And Theo Papa George, he's precious as well. He is on the spiritual path, and you reconnected. Hey, you're spiritual, so am I. Let's do something together in this tech world that we know about and bring spirituality in.
Yes. So Theo is one of my great friends. We met freshman year of college at Columbia. We were on the same dorm floor. We ended up...
Was Martin kind of your friends, or not really in your hangout group?
No, Martin was. So Theo and I joined the same fraternity, and we became members of this fraternity. We lived in this frat house, had amazing times there. And so Martin was actually, during my last semester at Columbia, he was a pledge.
He's younger.
And so he ended up joining the fraternity. He became a brother. And so, I loved all the pledges. I got along with them all, but Martin was definitely one of my favorite people, just because he was always just a sweet guy, always had the best demeanor. And Martin was there. Like he saw it all go down. He saw me, he actually witnessed me.
I know, he told me.
In trouble. Like he saw it. And that was like a rough patch, but I'm just so happy that we got to reconnect again.
And you're both in such a good space, and you're both doing good in the world. That's what I freaking love. And
it's beautiful to see that, to see your colleagues and your peers doing great work for the world. And so, Theo and I, over the years, we kept in touch. We worked on screenplays. We worked on music together. We've always co-created things. And we were both really into crypto. We were both really into this DeFi space, this Web3 space. And we thought, how can we work together, but also help raise the collective vibration? And that resulted in this collection, this ZBA Zen Baby Academy collection that we'll be releasing this summer.
That's so exciting. I love it when we have something we love and we learn how to make it our everyday, right? Make it our work, something we love. So then you feel like you're not really working a day in your life. It's like when you're really doing what you love and you're getting paid for it, you can feel that, you can experience that vibe. And it's going to reach so many people. And it's so amazing with technology. I'm just so blown away that everything that's happening is so freaking cool.
It's really incredible because a lot of these technologies really help us expand our awareness and help us expand our consciousness. But, during this pandemic, a lot of people felt very isolated and like a lot of human connection was disrupted. And so I think a lot of these NFT communities really flourish because a lot of times when you join an NFT, like when you buy an NFT, you become part of a community, right? Whether it be just a Discord server or the fact that you're an owner of this select, like small exclusive group. People love that connection, and humans need connection, not just physical connection.
Oh my gosh.
But digital connection can also do it. I don't think digital connection will ever replace physical in-person connection.
Yeah, that's what's so funny. I was going to say it has everything except physical touch.
Right.
And I just have to say, one time during the pandemic, I'm a big toucher. I didn't even care it was a pandemic. I was like, I got my mask on, I'm washing my hands. But this woman was going down my street, and she was an older woman, kind of walking slow. And I just walked up to her and I said, "Do you mind if I touch you?" And she was like, "Well, no." And I went behind her and I scratched her back like this with both hands. And she just stood silent for probably 3 minutes. And then she just turned around and she was crying. And she said, "I've been alone. I haven't seen my family, my friends, my bridge group, my whatever square dance group she did once a week. I haven't been touched in 8 months." And I was just like, oh,
wow.
Holy, you know what I mean? It's like I have a dog and a bunch of kids. So it's like I can't help but be touched constantly. But the people who are alone are alone. Like how hard that was and how much they suffered. So yeah, human touch, man, touch people. Once you have permission, of course.
Right.
Yeah.
Of course. You would love Burning Man. A lot of hugging. Like everyone.
Oh, I can't wait. I'm going.
Yeah, you need to be there. You need to be there. But
it's never too late to get in crypto. It's never too late to go to Burning Man. By golly. I'm doing both.
Do you know that people take their kids, they take their babies, and like I thought at first I was like, that's so wild. But if an adult would really enjoy Burning Man, so would a 2-year-old. And so you have people there that are anywhere from like 2 years old to like 80 years old. So there's there's no age limit for the burn, and there's no age limit for the metaverse. There's no age limit for DeFi or crypto. And what's really cool about everything that's happening with the metaverse and NFTs, it's new to all of us. Yes, there's people that have been in this space longer than us. There's people that are veterans, but it's new for everyone. So
yeah,
just because you're getting in the space and you're like, oh, I don't know what's going on, that's totally okay, because most people at a certain point, they didn't know what was going on. And
exactly. So you start somewhere. Yeah, just get in. Stop your stories of I don't know about it. I don't know. Screw it. There is no age limit, right? I love that.
Yes.
I want to ask you, when was the first day you got into crypto? When did you know something about it? When did you buy something? What happened?
Okay. So interestingly, I got into the metaverse before I got into crypto. And like I got into the metaverse and I didn't really know I was in the metaverse. So
okay, how'd that happen? You accidentally got in the metaverse.
I was reflecting. I was like, wow, like how did I end up in this space? When I first moved to LA in 2014, one of my first jobs was working with Oculus. And so, yeah, I was working with Oculus.
Those are the things my daughter does this and plays games?
Exactly. So,
wow.
So I was working with Oculus, and I was doing all kinds of product demonstrations with the Oculus Rift. And now you definitely see Oculus headsets everywhere, and they're a lot more affordable, which is amazing.
How can you connect Oculus to your Zen baby so we can have the full virtual experience?
Oh, so you could certainly do that. So you can essentially use your Oculus or whatever other VR headset you have for exploring places like Decentraland or Sandbox or any of these metaverses.
So futuristic. It's here.
if you don't have that, you could just use your laptop, and that's
Yeah.
okay, right? And like it's still a fun experience. But if you have one of those headsets, you're in there. And so I remember in 2014, I started working with Oculus, and that was like my first introduction to the metaverse. And at the time, no one was calling it the metaverse, and like I knew it was going to be big, right? And I guess I started seeing these worlds and these different programs and games, and it was amazing. I didn't know exactly in what direction it was heading, but it opened me up to the possibilities
Yes.
of creation, and it kind of like planted a seed.
I was going to say every single experience we have gets us to where we're to be.
Exactly.
Everything has to happen, the good and the bad, to get us to have the knowledge to be able to go, now all this makes sense. That's why I know how to do that and why I know him and why I have a passion for that. It's for this.
Yes.
It's like we're building up to our thing, and you're in your thing.
Exactly. So life put me in that situation. And so years later, so then after,
I just have to say we kind of have to start the wrap up because last time we went 2 hours almost. So we're kind of getting down on the last few. So say this, and then I want to get into what you want them to know.
So I started focusing on acting, and that brought me to all kinds of sets. And on set, you meet so many different kinds of people. And I remember it was like 2018, kind of going into 2019. I was with a guy that was just talking about crypto. Like he was just super bullish on crypto, and he was telling me just about all the coins that he was investing in, and he was just really passionate about Bitcoin and Ethereum. And he told me, he's like, if you're not in this space, like you need to like buy even a little bit, And so I thought, you know what, you make sense. And so I bought some Bitcoin and Ethereum
in 2019.
Yeah, it was like early like 2019 was when.
How much did you buy?
So I bought a few. At first, I bought like a few $1,000s worth, and then I started like, so I bought a few thousand at first, and I was like, okay, and then I started kind of making it like just part of like one of my regular investments. I was like, you know what? Let me buy more Bitcoin on the regular. Let me buy more Ethereum on the regular, and then obviously saw a bunch of price fluctuations along the way, but overall,
did you leave it in?
Investment has gone up. Yeah, I've left it in.
Okay, so what did you start? Let's say you started with 3,000 or 5,000. Just make it up.
It was about 6,000.
Okay, you start with 6,000, and I don't want you to like to brag about money or have people tell about their money, but can you just say it's over an amount, like leaving it in there from now till now? So that was 19, 20, 21, 22, for 3 years.
Yeah.
What does that look like now? Are you a millionaire from it?
So I'm not a millionaire off of those.
I hate to say that, but for me, it's just like, I can't believe people got from that to that.
Yeah. Well, so I'm not a millionaire, like in those holdings, right? Like those have been just like some of my steady holdings. And I've just like, I kind of see like Bitcoin as kind of like digital gold, right?
Yeah. An investment. Yeah.
A great investment. I've definitely gotten into other projects and done a lot more into like, all of my investments have definitely grown substantially. Like from there, like I started getting into XRP, which I'm still very bullish on.
Don't bring that up now because I don't know what the hell that means and we don't have time.
So XRP is a completely different, it's another cryptocurrency.
Okay, don't talk about that.
Yeah, so these three currencies got me into this world. And then I got into some smaller currency altcoins, and I've certainly had much bigger returns on some of these other altcoins. However, like I continue to add to my Bitcoin holdings and to my Ethereum holding, right?
So that's what you're doing. And then it's just, do you move it around and trade and buy stuff? Do you have NFTs?
So I do have some NFTs. So yeah, so in terms of purchasing NFTs, I buy Ethereum NFTs and then Solana. Like I'm pretty bullish on Solana as well. So I purchased some Solana NFTs, and that's. And like,
do you know, my friend that I'm going to, Tillman Holloway, I'm going to that Bitcoin conference. He is going to be the first person having NFTs on the Bitcoin platform.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
That's amazing. And it's only, Bitcoin has some incredible projects that are going to come out, and it's just a matter of time before we start seeing all kinds of different projects on the Bitcoin
that
blockchain
platform.
And that's what's beautiful. Like you have all these other blockchains, right? Like you have Polygon and Solana and you have Cardano, and they're developing, and it's empowering all these different developers and creators to create. And it's bringing, like, Ethereum's great, but the gas fees are pretty high. And that's
okay. We have to wind down now because you are so full of information. Like I need to just hire you to talk to me for 2 days to get me up to speed. I'm serious.
I love your crypto videos, by the way.
Thank you.
Like they're very informative. And so, yeah, keep those up.
Thank you. So yeah, the people listening, if you want to, you can look at my Instagram and my Facebook, and I'm posting daily 33 every day for 33 days up until the start of the Bitcoin conference in April. Just a little tidbit. And I'm learning as I teach. So a lot of times I just write a bunch of stuff that interests me and then I'm reading it because I was like, I haven't memorized it yet and I have to do another one in an hour. So yeah, thank you for saying that. I appreciate that because sometimes I feel silly, but then I'm like, screw it. Somebody's learning something.
Knowledge is power. You're empowering a lot of people. And that's what this movement's about. That's what Web3 is about. It's about, to each one, teach one. And yeah, like this is.
And you're awesome.
Thank you.
I'm excited to buy an NFT. If I get an NFT, some people have one that looks like them? They just bought it and happens to look like him, or someone made it for him?
Yeah. So essentially, like when NFTs, when they're released on the secondary market, like a place like OpenSea, you can find the one you want and then you buy that one. Okay. But in some collections, they do their initial sales through their website. And so you mint it off of that website. And then you kind of get what you get. So it's like a surprise. So
I see.
Yeah, think of like
so when I buy yours, I'll get a surprise baby.
You'll get a surprise baby.
Surprise at 56, a baby. But I don't have a uterus. Yeah, go ahead.
But since you are going to be, like, you're our first influencer in the space that's going to be working with us, like, we'll make sure you get a really awesome baby. We'll make sure that you get a baby that fits your vibe, because I
can't wait for my baby.
Your vibe, so we'll make sure your baby matches your vibe.
Oh, thank you, sweetheart. Thank you, Stephan.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for sharing the first part one, your story and your heart, man. I just still feel so deeply like touched by it all, what you went through and how strong you are and what you're doing today. It just goes to show no mess is too big, right? The bigger the mess, the more magic can come from it.
100%. And then also, it's never too late to start, and especially in Web3.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Anything you want to say about where they can find you, or a website, or what they can look at, follow you?
So you could, if you want to find me on Instagram, my Instagram is Stephan Perez Official. The Zen Baby Academy Instagram is Zen Baby NFT. The Twitter is also Zen Baby NFT. So you could see some previews of the collection. You could also find a link to our Discord there, and then any dates in terms of our drop and our first pre-launch party in Decentraland will be posted on all of our social media. So please come check us out.
Now, I missed my appointment with Martin to help me navigate the Discord. Will you do that with me at a different time?
Of course. Let me know.
Because I just don't know what to do when I look at it. I get scared and I get back off because things are popping up.
It takes a little bit to get a hang of it, but you'll get used to it.
Okay, great. I love you. You're amazing. And I can't wait to just create magic with you, to be of service and to have a freaking blast.
I look forward to it. So much love. Thank you. And thank you.
Bye, Stephan.
Bye, Leigh.